Well, it's official. We officially have the official government story on the Epstein case. He committed suicide. Don't question it, because if you ask questions, well, then you'll be labeled a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist who deserves to be shunned by all of humanity. This from the Daily Mail. Jeffrey Epstein's death is officially ruled as suicide after a medical examiner, of course, probably a government medical examiner, says autopsy found the pedophile hanged himself in his New York jail cell. Never mind all the crazy circumstances that swirled around this case. Jeffrey Epstein's death has officially been ruled a suicide by hanging. The medical examiner's office said on Friday that an autopsy and other evidence, what other evidence, confirmed the 66-year-old hanged himself in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan last week. The billionaire pedophile, who was awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges involving underage girls, hanged himself with a paper-thin bedsheet from the top set of bunks, according to the officials. Again, don't question it. This is the official government story. Don't talk about it. It's not a conspiracy. He just committed suicide. Go back to sleep. Just believe us. We're the government. He was found with several broken bones in his neck, including the hyoid bone, when guards were doing their morning rounds last Saturday. You know, those overworked, underpaid guards who really didn't belong there and who fell asleep on the job while the cameras glitched? Yeah, those guards. Revelations of the broken bones in his neck led to speculation that his death was a homicide, and conspiracy theories continued to swirl almost a week after his body was found. His death prompted outrage and disbelief over how such a high-profile prisoner, known for socializing with powerful people including Presidents Donald Trump and Bill Clinton, could have been left without surveillance at the federal facility. Yeah, it's pretty logical to have that kind of outrage and disbelief over something that outrageous and unbelievable. Epstein, who was charged with sexually abusing numerous underage girls over several years, had been placed on suicide watch last month after he was found on his cell floor on July 23rd with bruising on his neck. You don't say. Multiple sources have said that Epstein was taken off the watch after a week and put back in a high-security housing unit where he was less closely monitored but still supposedly checked on every 30 minutes. Attorney General William Barr says officials have uncovered, quote, serious irregularities at the federal jail following Epstein's death. You think? You think there were serious irregularities? The FBI and the Justice Department are both investigating. Jail guards on duty the night of he died, you gotta spell check some things here. The night he died are suspected of falsifying log entries to show they were checking on inmates every half hour as required. A guard in Epstein's unit was working a fifth straight day of overtime, and another guard was working mandatory overtime, sources said. A lot of pictures here. U.S. District Judge Richard Berman, who is in charge of the criminal case against Epstein, asked the jail's warden this week for answers about the earlier episode, writing in a letter on Monday that it had, quote, never been definitively explained. The warden replied that an internal investigation was completed. Just leave it to us. We're going to investigate ourselves, and we'll get back to you and let you know what we found after we investigate ourselves. Yeah. Fox watching the hen house. But that he couldn't provide information because the findings were being incorporated into investigations into Epstein's death. There was speculation following Epstein's initial attempt that he had been trying to get away from his prior cellmate, former NYPD officer Nicholas Tartaglione, who is accused of killing 4 men over a drug deal gone wrong. Tartaglione, who was questioned over the incident, said that he instead saved Epstein's life after finding him unconscious in their cell and calling for help. He was moved out of the cell he shared with Epstein while the billionaire was on suicide watch. His lawyer told NBC that Tartaglione had been cleared of any wrongdoing just a few days before the medical examiner released the autopsy findings. Why even question Tartaglione? What's wrong with the security cameras in this place? Isn't this a correctional facility? What's up with that? Basically, they're saying it went down like this. Okay, Tartaglione, did you do it? No. Okay, that's good enough for us. Let him go. The attorney Bruce Barkett said, "We've always maintained Nick did nothing wrong, and that's clearly been borne out here by the jail itself." And then it just says Epstein was arrested on July 6th and pleaded not guilty to federal charges of sex trafficking involving dozens of underage girls as young as 14. He was already a registered sex offender after pleading guilty in 2008 to Florida state charges of unlawfully paying a teenage girl for sex. Prior to his conviction, he knew all these rich and powerful people. Clinton and Trump both said they hadn't seen Epstein in years and knew nothing of his misconduct when new charges were brought against him last month. Back to the medical examiner. The medical examiner's ruling came a day after two more women sued Jeffrey Epstein's estate, saying he sexually abused them. The suit, filed Thursday in a federal court in New York, claims the women were working as hostesses at a popular Manhattan restaurant in 2004 when they were recruited to give Epstein massages. One was 18 at the time, the other was 20. Then it talks a little bit more about the lawsuit. But my question for you guys is this: do you believe the official story? Do you believe Jeffrey Epstein actually committed suicide, or do you believe he was murdered? It's interesting how convenient it is for government agents just to say that surveillance cameras glitched when things aren't exactly working in their favor. Leave your thoughts for the world, the Google Thought Police, and every government yahoo who thinks we're a bunch of dumbasses in the comments section below. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.